in opposition of your party. But I think that I don't hear enough voices of your party, of your colleagues, on issues like this. I mean, you have a reputation now for speaking out on issues outside this island. I think the incident with the teacher in 8 Mile Rock, you were the main advocate on the floor of the House for the rights of the child in that moment in time. So what is it you think? I mean, I want your position on whether we stole your moment in time. I don't want, you know, do you agree with me? And if you do agree with me, when you do it next time, you just push them aside. But what do you feel?
No, to be honest with you, I think the way it unfolded, I just believe that, I just think that it was just instinctive what happened. I believe. That's my view.
You love them, you know. That's
no, I think it was
that's
instinctive.
Your colleagues. You can't say nothing bad.
I think that it just happened. It was nothing that they could have predicted, that I predicted, and it happened, and everyone just sort of responded in that way. The police came, and they were saying what to do. I mean, I don't know, and I think that was just the response to it at the time. But I was prepared to be removed. That's the bottom line. I did feel sort of a little guilty that I put my colleagues in it because you know they got drawn into it. But frankly, for myself, it was straightforward.
Don't feel guilty. No, Glenys, don't feel guilty. Those fellas stole your moment in time. Trust me, they wanted to be a headline. And by standing up, they protecting our women. They make it look like women can't fight for themselves. Well, and really, the women are the warriors in the people.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I know this for a fact. That young lady who spoke at your convention,
was it
from
Melissa?
the Family Island.
Oh, which one? The young Daniel Gibson.
Yes.
From Eleuthera.
Man, I was so impressed with what she had to say, and I said, boy, I just hope that the leader of the opposition is listening carefully to what she had to say. I was hoping that the Prime Minister was listening to what she had to say. But I think women in this country now are in the forefront of change, of the battle for change, especially in the political organizations. Yeah. But in the recent convention, unfortunately, you were voted out of the office as chairman. Right. But I want to put to you that reflects a movement back, a retrenchment, moving back to the old guard where all the progress that was made for women up to now, with a woman being appointed as chairman, with young people coming forward in the party. I think all of that has gone astray.
Well, I don't know. The convention, you said it's unfortunate. I'm not sure it's unfortunate because, to tell you the truth, I now have a fairly independent, unrestrained voice. Okay. When you're the chairman, you carry the party, and so you know that brings its burdens, obligations, responsibilities, and its joy and pride and all of that stuff. But you know, so I wouldn't necessarily bemoan it. I accept the will of the convention.
Mind you, the fella come with so much baggage to replace you. We won't go into that, but you have plenty baggage.
But you know, so I accept the will of the convention. I think that there is in my organization and in the Free National Movement, because you speak to the women on that side, they say the same thing. There is this underlying belief that men could handle this thing a little better. Being all my years in the Parliament, I've sat in cabinet, and I chaired the party. I cannot accede to that ideology because I've seen all shapes and types and different people being different things, some weak, some strong. So the male man, just the mere fact that you're a male does not give you that. And there are many men, I would be, this may sound a little arrogant, but I don't know how they would think that they have a larger entitlement than I may have in the political process by virtue of who they are and who I am, what I bring and what they bring. But it does happen. So that is very real. It is very, very real in our party. It's real in the Free National Movement, and I think it's real in political organizations and other places across the board
but are women
in this country.
Responsible for that themselves? I mean, on the conventions, you see the young girls coming and throwing themselves at the feet of these political elite. I mean,
I think for myself,
women being partially responsible for not asserting their rights and not pushing themselves.
I think I'll say it like this, right? I think maybe women have accepted the role to some extent. For myself, let me think for myself. I think my problem was I was naive. I came in naive because I never thought that is how people thought, how their thinking was like. I never believed that. And so I came in thinking I was an equal partner like everybody else sitting around the table, whatever that table was. And then you begin to understand you're not viewed that way. So it was a process of time. I actually, because I was raised correctly, So I actually, in the political process, had to now be questioning my premise about how I saw myself, and then seeing how I was in this, I was seen in the political realm. So I had to sort of backtrack, and I think because in the backtracking though, it may cause you to become more aggressive, because you have to. You gotta be better, you gotta be more aggressive, and I think that also causes other problems.
Maybe you were always aggressive.
I was always better. I get a little more.
I should have told you, but you know, my sister used to beat me up, man. You know,
that ain't true.
No, when I hear them fellas tackling you on the floor, I say, oh my God, they don't know my sister. You know, you're always being a little aggressive.
I was always a little aggressive, but when I realized what the mindset was, and even in both sides of Parliament, even in the House right now as we speak, then you know it causes you to have a very singular focus, and it affects even how you interact with us, because you don't interact as much, because then they think you're frivolous. So you cut that out, because you don't give them any excuse to misunderstand who you are, and that's unfortunate, because I like you know, interacting and all that sort of stuff, but I began to sort of shave that and define that, and you know, and then that's what happens. And I think it does, I think women who have a level of confidence and some level of ability, and who are clear on what they want and who they are, I think some men don't feel comfortable with that in the political process.
Well, you think they're impotent men then?
Well, I don't
well,
know. They got
real
issues.
Man, and I'm a real man now. I got plenty baby. A real man don't have no problem working with women. As a matter of fact, I've been a member of the National Conference of Black Lawyers, the Society of Black Lawyers. Any organization I've been in where women were involved, they've been at the forefront of the struggle. But just before we take the break, Glenys, in terms of the way forward for women, do you see in the next 10 years us having a woman prime minister?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. The worst thing that can happen for the political process is to resist the involvement of women in the process, or to try and shorten it or abort it or whatever it is. Can't work. We represent too significant a portion of the population. We're already in all throughout the society in different areas. So it can't happen. It's artificial. It's one of the few vestiges of our of male dominance that exists in our society, and it cannot. It's artificial. It cannot be sustained. And I think the best thing to do, so as not to create an imbalance, is to begin to allow the evolution. It's an evolution. It's not a takeover.
Okay.
Let it happen.
We can come back on that, Glenys. Evolution. Yeah. I want to see revolution, but you can go back with your evolution. We'll be right back. Just take a break.